Welcome to Fostering Blooms, the podcast where we dig deep into gardening and all the ways it can enrich your home and life.
Together, we'll explore every aspect of gardening the organic way, keeping it simple, accessible, and fun.
Whether you're a seasoned gardener or just getting your hands in the dirt, we're here to share the tips and insights you need to grow something truly special. I'm Shannon Foster-Boleen.
And I'm Caitlyn Blum, and we're two friends on a mission to cultivate beauty, creativity, and connection through everything we grow.
This is Fostering Blooms.
Ho, ho, ho. Happy Halloween.
What?
So we're thinking about planting for fall. We're thinking about, Halloween fall time, but we're also thinking about Christmas or the holidays. So This is a little bit of both.
I know. So it's Christmas, the holidays in July. I'm going to be honest of how this episode came about is because when Beth and I got back from Canada, I was a little under the weather for that weekend. That's never a good thing because when I'm not doing other things, then I have time to think of other things to do.
Yeah, to add to your list of your things you're already doing.
Right.
What can I add on top of what I'm already doing?
Correct.
And you sent us down a rabbit hole.
I really did.
But it's a good one.
I think it is too. I'm really excited. Basically, I thought I'm going to go ahead and get organized for Christmas. And I just want to preface this by saying that clearly there are many more holidays than Christmas, and I really love them all. I think it's amazing. I am going to probably reference Christmas because that's what we celebrate, but we've got Passover and Kwanzaa and all kinds of holidays happening around December. It doesn't really matter what holiday you celebrate. If you are going to give a gift to somebody, then today we're going to talk about how to start planning for that now.
No matter what holiday you have, we hope it's a happy one. And here's how to make it happy.
Exactly. Exactly. And the great thing is that whether you're growing this stuff in your garden or whether you purchase it from a local provider or an organic provider online, you can do these things. And for me, I just love learning. So this is exciting because a lot of these things are new to me. Some of them are not, but some of them are.
I think that's why it's exciting to us too, is because we're like, oh, I need to look this up. I need to learn more about this.
Yeah.
I came to see you after you got back from your trip and you're like, well, I was sick, but I planned out all this stuff. Here's the stuff we're going to do. I was like, oh my God, I'm so in. And down our rabbit holes we went. I mean, like, what? Oh, yes, you would do this, and I love it. Early on in the spring, we planned for doing herbs for teas, and it was really just kind of for ourselves. But we're like, oh, let's do tea bath for Christmas gifts, and then it kind of avalanched from there. I started planning out. Okay, here's the teas that we can do. Here's what we're growing. Here's what we need to supplement from, and look into some good providers. Mountain Rose Herbs is a good place. And then what was the other?
Frontier Co-op. They've been around a long time.
I think I looked at their stuff too. So I went down a really big rabbit hole into herbalism. We do love learning. I think that's another reason we're getting excited about this is we get to learn more and just add on to what we're doing growing wise and then utilizing what we have in our gardens now and we didn't even realize that we could use for other purposes.
Yeah, absolutely. The way I approached it was like I had my list from the year before and added people in, and then I spent a little time thinking about what they would actually really like. I have a couple people on there that are gardeners, so I'll give them some seeds. Then I started thinking, okay, what are things that I know they're going to like that I have planned? Then what are some new things that I can do? So I'm going to mention some things on here that I've never made before, but I'm excited to make. And then you can make these really cool curated gifts for people. I don't know. It makes it a lot more special. And when you start in July, then you don't feel as rushed.
Yeah, it's smart. Sierra's grandmother says she starts Christmas shopping in July.
Yeah.
Not only from a planning standpoint, but from a monetary standpoint.
Yeah. A lot of the stuff that I'm making, I need jars for. So I ordered my first batch of jars this month, and then I'm ordering another batch in August. I feel like you can spread it out. It makes it a little easier. One of the things I would suggest is as you listen to these things today, you can go back and research and see how long they'll be good for. So I'll try to mention that, but I have like a chart with each person's name and what I'm going to give them so that I have quantities of jars, quantities of supplies that I'll need, and then a timeline of when I need to start. I did use ChatGPT to help me with the planning, and it was really, really useful because it did a lot of that work for me. And, especially since I didn't feel good and I was a little fuzzy. So it was
You need a little help, and that's
needed a little help. So without further ado, you want to get started?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
One of the first things is that I am going to do some canning gift items, which I have done in the past, but I have some new ones. So I just made today some peach vanilla jam.
It was so good. You gave me a little bit to taste, and I was like, can I finish this? And you're like, here's a whole jar.
Let me give you this jar that I knew I was going to give you already, because I knew you were going to love it.
I love peaches.
Like, she's going to love this. Yeah, they turn out really good. And so
wonderful.
It was a good small test batch, which is one thing I would say if you're trying canning, whether it's water bath canning, pressure canning, cold canning, do a small batch first to make sure you're going to like it.
That's smart.
For example, last year I did a cranberry pomegranate jelly, which was in season later in the year. So I did that later in the year. But right now, if you're doing pickles or zucchini or squash or whatever, then that's something that you can save and give later. So really, there is some flexibility there. But if you think, I'm going to do some refrigerator pickles, well, you probably aren't going to have very good cucumbers for that in December. One thing I will say with canning that I'm doing this year a little differently is instead of like a pint jar of pickles, I'm doing like a half pint.
That's so
and
smart.
Instead of a pint jar of jelly or jam, I'm going to do a quarter pint. So just a small sampling, because I think sometimes, in fairness, some people might be nervous to eat something that someone else can't because they don't know how meticulous that person is.
Sure. That's a good point.
So it's like a good little sampling, and I want people to be like, I want your canned stuff, give it to me.
Yeah, and you can get 2 gifts out of one.
Yeah, exactly.
You're right. You're not sure if like someone's gonna absolutely like love it and want a quart jar of it.
Right.
I mean, I would, but that's
or even a pint. I mean, that's what my regular sliced pickles are, a pint, and it doesn't sound like a lot, but it really is.
I mean, I hoarded it. I did not get that out for guests. I hoarded it for myself, Shannon.
You'll get pint jars. Everybody else will get quarter pints.
Okay, thanks.
And half pints. But one of the things I'm going to do that's a little different is a Mexican escabeche, which is carrots and onion and jalapeno. I just harvested some carrots. I know it's late in the season, but I'm going to turn that into something. So
that's so cool. That's such a unique thing to do.
Yeah. Canning is one of those deals where if you've thought about trying it, get yourself an electric water bath canner. Listen to my last solo episode. Yes. I've got some info in there too.
It was great. I wish you would there were some parts where I was like, I wish you'd expand on this a little bit more.
Yeah, I can go back. We can do that.
Yeah, it's just like it was like just the tip of the ice. It was a teaser. Yeah, because there's questions. Even like I've done some, but there's just so many different ways to do it. And you really nailed it.
The electric water bath canner is a great place to start. And I'm going to be doing pressure canning, although I probably won't be giving many of those items away because it's my first year doing it and I want to make sure I get it right before I start giving them away to people.
So you're going to do them and then you're going to test them 3 months later and you'll be like, okay, these are safe.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry you couldn't have any beans, but I will say with the beans, one of my other ideas was because I am growing a couple unique varieties, I got some muslin bags and I'm going to put some of my shelling beans, assuming we have a good harvest, in some of those muslin bags and give basically the equivalent of a full pot of beans, probably 3 dry cups, depending on the harvest.
I mean, you are growing like 20,000 pounds of beans, so we should have plenty.
I mean,
sorry. Every time we talk about the beans, and I'm like talking it up and like, oh God.
Fingers crossed.
Let's knock on some wood.
Yeah, knock on wood.
Okay.
So that's another thing is that you can get those muslin bags and you can, like if you're doing shelling beans or whatever. Yeah. So you want me to talk about my vinegar-based stuff? Or
yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I'm very obsessed with this colonial era beverage.
Oh my, what is
it's called a shrub.
What the is a shrub?
It's a colonial era beverage. So the first time I heard about it was actually on a British podcast.
It's funny because colonial to me is American. Colonial, I would assume, but it's interesting that it is something is it popular in
I think it is kind of popular in the UK, at least it was with the person I heard talking about it. But when we went to Canada, we had some mocktails and one of them was shrub. And that's what made me go, okay, I need to get off the fence and do this because I love anything with vinegar. So basically, you take a fruit of your choice and you put sugar in. You can do a lower sugar version. You then add vinegar within 24 hours or so. Then it sits there and it creates like this concentrated vinegar based syrup. And it takes about an ounce of the shrub syrup with 7 ounces of sparkling water. And it's so delicious. I am drinking a rhubarb shrub right now during this.
They're very
episode.
Delicious. Tell them the different flavors that you made. Your first time, you're like, I'm making these shrubs. And you're like, I did like all these different flavors. I'm like,
three.
My God.
I was like, I'm not just trying one, I'm trying 3. Because that's how we roll. So I did rhubarb was the one I really wanted. My rhubarb plants did really well this year. I took just 1 stem from each plant. So it's about 2 cups of rhubarb and mint. And then I did plum and lavender. I had some culinary lavender and bought some really good plums from a local source. And then peach and strawberry.
They were so good.
They are really good. The peach and strawberry, I really loved even more than I thought I would. It's very, very. So I am going to make some shrubs for people, but because it'll be closer to the winter season, I'm going to do a cranberry pomegranate one.
Oh,
yeah.
That's awesome.
Basically, you get swing top bottles and you can put them in the swing top bottle and it makes a nice gift for people. One of the gift sets I'm doing kind of like a cocktail set for someone, whether it's a mocktail or a fully leaded cocktail, whatever it is. I've been trying some citrus. So I've done limes and lemons. So this is one of the things you could do now because it will last. You dehydrate them in your oven. If your oven gets to 155, you can do it in there. I got organic bags at Trader Joe's for like $2 for 5 lemons.
That's great.
I know. You just pop them in the oven for 8 to 12 hours. Make sure they get really dried. Put them in some weck jars and they look really pretty.
That's what I was going to ask. How are you preserving them in the weck jars?
In the weck jars. Okay. And then I will do some blood oranges as we get closer to the holidays when they're in season. And then basically this other set's going to have some bitters.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and you're going to talk a little bit about bitters and tinctures.
Yep.
And then I'm going to make something called an oxymel, which is a health digestive, and it's a honey-based herbal digestive. Another basket will have maybe the oxymel with some tea stuff and things like that. So some of these gifts you can use for different people. And like the bitters, I'm only going to do a small batch. I mean, I'm not trying to make like 5,000 bitters. I think that's one of the things that you look at and say, what do I want to do? Small batches? Do I want to make a bigger run?
Yeah, like am I storing this for the year for myself and then gifts? But I think that's really cool that you've gone through and you've kind of customized who gets what. Make your quantities based on that.
Yeah, for sure. And some things are easier to do. The dried citrus you can use with teas, you can use them in cocktails. I mean, there's a lot of different things. Also, if you wanted to, you could do something simple like a basil vinegar. You could use some of that extra basil harvest that you have.
So much basil.
Oh, well, that's one way to use it. I'm also thinking about doing some preserved lemons because they're so beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's something I can do probably in October. For somebody who really likes to cook or is a little more adventurous, it's a great flavor profile. Plus, it's not hard to do. You put it in a jar. You don't have to water bath can it or anything like that.
What are you preserving them in?
Salt.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's really lovely in the end. It's pretty cool and they look really nice.
Yeah.
So there's some things like that where you don't have to be necessarily growing them. Just get some good quality produce and you can make it.
Yeah, you don't have to be like a huge grower, homesteader, or farmer to do some of this stuff. You know, you can grow some of it and then source some of it from other places to scale it to whatever your needs are, even if it's just a few people or you're doing 20 people.
Yeah, no, I love it. So let's talk about the rabbit hole that you went down because this is part of our gift giving.
Oh, yes. So, like I said previously, we had planned a little bit ahead for making teas for ourselves. That kind of got into, let's add teas to our gift baskets. Okay, this is what we're going to need, Shannon. Let's start getting our blends we're going to make. This is what we're going to grow. This is what we're going to get from a source. And then I really got down a rabbit hole into herbalism. I've kind of always been interested by it. Like I'll get teas here and there, but I've never really like delved into it as deeply as I am. And so day one, I'm like, Shannon, look at this. I set up part of my basement. I got this little corner going. I got like this little rack. And then day two, and I was like, Shannon, things escalated really freaking quickly down here. I'm using these screen doors. We had screen doors that I took off our back porch doors because I wanted to be able to see out of them better. And I just put them in the basement. I'm like, oh man, I've got some big drying racks to get out. So I got one out. And then day three was like, I don't have enough room. And I've done string from column to column down there. And I've taken over probably half our basement now with drying herbs.
I think it's amazing. I love it. Every single day she would send me pictures and it was like just growing and growing. And I'm like, this is so fantastic.
And that's typical me too. It's like, you too. It just, we find something and it interests us. And I think learning about this stuff, that is also another thing that really excites us is we find something we want to know all about it. We don't half-ass anything.
No.
And it's cool. We've kind of chosen different paths to go and they complement each other. It's been awesome. So I've really gotten into drying herbs.
I know I got this list of you need to bring me, I need some of your lemon balm, some holy basil. You need to give me, I was like, I'll go out tomorrow morning.
They're really bossy.
I love it though, because I'll just go do it. If you tell me, I'll just do it.
You don't do it often, but you're like, oh, she means this.
Yeah, I'll do it.
You brought me a trash bag and a half of lemon balm. And I was like, yes, this is everything. I kind of had a little bit of a panic because I was like, oh my gosh, everything's blooming. Everything's go. We need to capitalize on this stuff now. I just felt like this urgency.
I love that though. I think you should pay attention to when you feel that way. You should pay attention to that and go.
And do it. And you've said that about other things that I've done too, where I've been like, oh my God, I need to do this. And so I'm doing it. And there's some things that I feel like I missed the boat on, but now I'm like, okay, I'm going for it. We're going to be doing little tea bags and
some dried herb packets too.
Herb. Yeah, just the herb in themselves. That's another thing. I grow them and I use them fresh, but I don't utilize them throughout the season. I don't know if you've tried to dry dill.
I actually haven't, but I did think about that and I haven't because I end up using it in most of my pickles.
I know. Well, some of my stuff's starting to go. I'm like,
dry.
So I feel like I'm going to miss the boat on my refrigerator pickles this year.
But you don't need to because I've got pickles.
You're doing this. So do you need me to bring you dill?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll bring you dill. I'm also trying to dry the dill. I found that sometimes it loses its color. And I don't know with that if it loses any of its potency. But in my basement, in my apothecary, in a dark space with the right ventilation and everything, that things are not losing color. Like the parsley is bright green.
That's really cool.
It's very interesting the way that the sunlight affects, which it makes sense if things are being bleached by the sun. But basil, Shannon was like, basil I've heard is really hard to dry. And I was like, no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
I believed you. I was like, oh, okay.
Whatever. You're the expert now.
Yeah.
And some dry better than others. So the holy basil, I'll go through a list here of all the stuff that we're utilizing, that we're growing. And two, when we started growing some of it, it's pretty to look at, but oh my gosh, the benefits that what it's used for medicinally or just in a tea or whatever.
First of all, I think it's an amazing journey and I'm excited to do the gifts like tea. We've talked about either doing tea bags or giving people individual herbs so they can make their own, mix and match, make their own
customized tea.
But it's kind of like, we're going to do a whole episode just letting you talk about herbalism and all the different things it's good for. And as we start thinking about what we want to plant for next year, we can really dial in and say, okay, we know this is really good for this and we need more of it. Like one lemon bulb plant will grow at least 3 feet long and high if you don't trim it down. You only need one.
Yeah.
Most people would only need one. It won't take over your whole garden, but it is part of the mint family, so it is very prolific. And I have to really cut it back hard. So I think that knowing what stuff you want us to have will be fun to grow as well.
Exactly. And it's helping our planning too. I'm already buying seeds for next year, knowing this stuff.
What about tinctures? Are you going to make some of those?
Yeah, so you were talking about making your bitters for the cocktails or mocktail, and I was like, that's interesting. What is that base? Is it an alcohol base? And you're like, yeah, it is. Well, that's very similar to a tincture. So for the bitters, you're doing an alcohol, like 90 proof. You are putting your herbs in to steep in them long.
Strain it out.
And you strain it after it's sat. So same thing with a tincture and using that for the herbs. But for the bitters, I mean, there's so many different recipes out there. Citruses are added, so lime, lemon, onion.
I mean, it could be onion. Oh gosh, that would be one.
What getting wild?
Tricky. Well, the thing about the bitters is I was surprised how many different components it had in there. I think I'm going to try to find one that's a little more simplified, or I may drop that from the list. I said earlier on that I haven't done every one of the things on this list. But that's also part of the fun, is to do stuff that's new and no pressure. Because if I'm making bitters in September and I don't like it, then that's fine. I'll move on to something else.
Yeah, but hey, you've tried it and you know.
Okay, so we talked about oxymels, bitters, and tinctures. And they're all kind of circling each other. I mean, it's essentially either alcohol. You can do a non-alcoholic version with vinegar.
You can do vinegar, yeah.
And then you've got the oxymel, which is like a honey base. So I feel like it's going to be fun to try all three of those and see which is the most interesting.
What's best.
But anyways, the point is that I think it's fun to kind of explore some of these things as you create these baskets. One idea is to do like a spa basket.
That's such a good idea.
I don't know if I said, but I may do some bath salts, not drugs, like bath salts, with some herbs
that we're doing.
Yeah, and then you could have the bath salts, and you could have like maybe your tincture or an oxymel, and then you could take some towel, really like a muslin type cloth or something that's really nice and light, and you could put a little essential oil with it and do a little recipe card that says soak this in water with 2 drops of lavender oil, and then put it in your refrigerator, and you've got like a cool towel that smells great to put on when you come home or whatever.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, and anybody really can do this,
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm very excited about all the different things that we can do with the herbs.
I'm going to mention a few of the herbs. I'm not going to go into super detail.
Sure.
I think what shocked me is the things we were growing and had out there, and we had no idea until I started doing this deep dive into what we had. So lemon balm, which you just talked about, is great for stress and anxiety. Again, you only need one plant, and it's a perennial, and it's going to produce. You can use the aerial parts. So aerial parts is anything above the root, the stems, the leaves, the flowers.
Yeah.
Throw them in a pot of water, 2-3 cups of water, and boil you some lemon balm tea and sip on that. It's going to help with anxiety and stress. And it's something just so simple. But other things on here that we're growing and using for our tea bags, our bath salts, herb mixes, things like that, is holy basil. Tulsi is also what it's called. It's great for overall health. Stems and leaves can be used. Basil, sweet basil, is an anti-inflammatory and a mood booster, which I didn't actually know. I mean, it's usually just for culinary things. But you were right. It is very hard to dry basil.
That's okay.
But I'm going to figure it out. Mint, echinacea, and yarrow, which I just grew from my pastoral garden. And I was like, you know what? Wait. Echinacea is medicinal. Oh my Lord. So I'm harvesting that. The yarrow, I'm harvesting both of those. California poppy. No, I do not have a poppy field that I'm turning.
It's not opium poppies.
Nope. California poppy, it's safe for even children. It's good for anxiety and sedative and sleep. Clary sage, bee balm, which you were like, what? Bee balm? You mean like the Monarda? And I was like, yes, go out, cut it.
I know. I was like, here's 2 little stems. I don't want to cut it yet. It's so pretty.
But that's great for teas. Nasturtiums, the flowers and leaves. You can use this fresh. People use that in culinary use. But it's also good for teas. Elderberry. Artichokes are good for digestion. I know, your artichokes.
I'm giving her a face because the bunnies ate all my artichokes.
Oh, and you're really growing those for bath.
I was, and your artichokes are doing great, so that's good.
They're kind of short though. I want to ask about that.
Should be really big. But
they should be tall. I mean,
like 5 feet
tall. The
tall.
lobes are massive, but they're not shooting upwards.
Yeah, no, it'll happen.
It will happen. Yeah. Okay, so right now I'm just doing the leaves.
Yeah.
It's good for digestion health. So, okay. Lemongrass, pineapple sage, lavender, calendula, stevia, and feverfew.
Yeah, and we're going to cut some of these things today too before you go home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. You know, we're not talking about dried flowers as gifts, but we are going to do a fall episode, and I want to talk about dried flowers and stuff like that
We could do like
too.
wreaths and
I know, all kinds of things.
Gosh.
So I know.
We're giving you some
That's
good
what
ideas.
2026 is for, right?
Oh, yes.
Well, one of the things that I have started to do that is different for me too is fermenting.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, anything vinegary I seem to really like, and I love sauerkraut. So I got a fermentation crock, which, by the way, would make a beautiful gift in and of itself.
It's so beautiful. I just wanted to
Yeah.
sit on my counter.
I know. I love it. So I got a 2-gallon one. I would say I could have probably done a 1-gallon one. I better really grow a lot of cabbage this
Go
fall.
big or go home.
Exactly.
Which is you. All the
right.
way.
That's
So-
right. Right. I did use some of my cabbage that I harvested, and we do have sauerkraut in there that's been there about 9 days. So we're going to taste test it today and see if it's ready to go to the basement, where it will sit for about 6 weeks. I know my dad probably won't hear this podcast, but if he does, spoiler alert, I'll probably give my dad a jar of that because he really loves it too. And this is like a dill flavored one. And I'm going to make sour pickles. It's like a Jewish deli style sour pickle, which I love. Just got to time it right with my end of my kraut and my cucumber harvest. And then kimchi. I'd like to try to make some hot sauce. Like I'm all into
is
this,
really
like, what
cool.
can I make with this crock? Now you can also do fermentation in glass jars, but I really feel like, hey, this is something that I want to do. And I'm going to spend $100 to get this 2-gallon beautiful
It's
Ohio
huge.
stoneware.
It's beautiful. I mean, if you utilize it for all this stuff you're talking about, it's paid for itself.
Oh, absolutely.
And
So,
for years to come. And this is something you could be using.
and you don't have to water bath can those items. Like once you can it up, it's going to last. I'm going to keep mine in the refrigerator to extend that time period, but it's also a gift that you could be making now that you could give to people later on. Even if you're not growing your own cabbage, just go to the farmer's market.
Yeah.
And probably what I would suggest in the fall, because that's when the next big crop is going to come in. Any cabbage you see right now is probably not really from someone's garden at this point or farm because it's past
We're
time.
definitely not growing cabbage.
So I am excited about the fermentation, but I am also really excited about this other thing that we're going to do. And I'm going to let you tell everybody all about it.
So when I came over and we were talking about these holiday goodies in July, and I was like, oh, I'm so in on this. You're like, what do you think about soap? I said, oh yeah, yes, I'm in.
Not any soap.
You're right, not any soap. I said, we're making goat milk soap.
Yes.
This is something, I've even saved milk in the past for this, but never used it. It's something I've thought about and everything. I'm like, oh, Shannon, I'm in. That's all you need to say. I'll go down this rabbit hole. I'll figure it out. I am milking one of my goats, Millie. I don't milk every year. Sometimes I just keep the kids on there and then I'll dry them off after that. But this year I was like, I love making goat cheese, and it's been a few years since I've been able to do it since our son.
So good.
So I've been doing goat cheese, and I brought some over today. And we had it on some of your delicious sourdough, which you're going to talk about in a second. But goat milk soap we'll be making. We've got all of our stuff for it. We're, going to be using some of the herbs that we're saving, and it's going to be really cool. We'll do a whole episode on that.
We will. I'm super excited.
My mother-in-law was like, I have people at work asking if you have goat milk soap.
I had never used it before, but I bought some recently and I was like, oh my God, my skin is so dry, but it feels amazing with this soap. And I had been using another brand that was very, I think for a bar of soap, $15 is expensive, but it was great. But this was just 10 times better. And I am really excited to try this.
Yeah. So I'm freezing goat's milk, which is the best form when you're making your soap, is to be frozen. So I've been saving up milk in the freezer and ice cube trays for soap making, and then been making goat cheese too. I've been having a little dairy over there.
You really have. Like, all the things we're talking about is like utilizing what we're growing or have created with animals in your case. I think that's part of what makes it so amazing. Like there's a
in
sense
season.
I mean, you gave me some goat milk and I'm going to try to make goat milk yogurt with it because I just started making our own yogurt. So that's a whole other thing, but I'm going to try some of that. So it's just, I don't know, there's something that feels very nice to know, like, I can make my own bread. I can make my own yogurt. I can make my own cheese. I can make my own food. You know,
It's empowering.
it is empowering. It feels really good. Like you don't have to make all this stuff from scratch yourself, meaning like from your garden. But man, when you do, it's a really great feeling. It's just really rewarding to see the full cycle of everything come around. So with the sourdough, just really quickly, I was able to get an amazing pan called the Challenger bread pan for our anniversary. Beth got it for me. And then she got me some sourdough starter from Amici, which is this amazing pizza place near where we live that does sourdough pizza. So good. And as soon as I got those two things, I just started going crazy. I made like 3 loaves in 1 week, and focaccia and crackers and sourdough pancakes. I mean, they gave me so much that I was able to do all this stuff. And I had to
use it all.
Well, when you were talking about your expanding herb room, it just made me think of that sourdough. Because when I brought it home, it was like a third of the way full. And then the jar was just going and going and going and almost over the top. I'm like, oh my gosh. So yeah, it has been such a great experience learning how to do it. I've had so much fun, but the crackers.
Oh my God, the crackers were so good.
The sourdough Parmesan crackers have come out really, really nice. And so I think I'm going to add that into my little gift routine.
Because that's so great. Keep a little bit longer, I think. I mean, I know you'd love to give a sourdough loaf to everybody, but you would turn into a bakery.
Yeah, and it's hard because I only have 1 pan and the process takes a long time.
Yeah.
And the bread is short-lived because it doesn't have any preservatives in it. So you really have to go through that. So the crackers are going to be a great option. And I may make some dog like cookies too, not necessarily out of the sourdough, but I think I'm going to make some dog treats potentially.
I love that for the dog owners out there. That's a great thing to put in the basket too. And I think that on Instagram and social media, sourdough is like all the rage. You know, everybody's making sourdough, but you know what's going to be even cooler are the sourdough crackers.
That's right.
God, they're like little crackers.
They are. You can't stop.
No, you cannot stop. So that's a great thing to add to the basket too.
And speaking of baskets, I mean, there's a couple different ways we can package these gifts, which I love some good packaging.
Yeah, so it's all about presentation.
It is. And I made like a little logo last year that just says all the good stuff made with love from Hilltop.
So
like I might make a stamp out of that to stamp onto the muslin bags or tags or a canvas tote bag. Some of the bigger gifts, I'll probably give a canvas tote bag. You can get small runs of those on Etsy. And you had a great idea.
So I love going thrifting when I have time. I actually took Bay into the thrift store and I found a little straw hat for him. It was 50 cents. He can wear it in the garden. I was like, oh, you need a garden hat, honey.
He loves hats.
Oh, he loves hats. So I was also looking for jars for my apothecary. And I always look at their baskets at the thrift store. Like woven basket. You never know what treasures you'll find in there. I found some really good peach baskets, I think. They're long, and so I use that for harvesting. Thrifting baskets for these little gift baskets, but they're thrifted, and you know, it's a good way to reuse, repurpose, and then you know, it's cute.
I love that. Another idea too is if you want something small, but it's called a market. You can get them in bigger or smaller sizes. I use kind of the bigger ones to put stocking stuffers in and then put up on my shelves. I don't have little kids that are going to be able to peer into them, but it helps me keep everything organized before stuff goes into the stockings. But they also make really good like baskets in a sense to give to people, and they're only a couple dollars a piece.
And they can reuse them for other stuff, other organizational things. I actually love when people give me gift baskets and like an organizational bin. I'm like, oh, I will reuse this. That's another good and kind of in the same line with that. So
what I would say is hopefully you found one thing on here that you just want to try. Like we said, some of these things we've done, some of them we haven't done at all, some of them we just started doing, but it's the idea of kind of pacing it out over time, using what you're growing or learning a new skill. I mean, we'll have to supplement. Obviously, I'm not growing every single thing I've made, but it's just a beautiful process of creativity. And what a great thing to do when it's so hot outside and maybe you can't really go into the garden in the afternoon. You can be doing some of these other things a little bit at a time.
Yeah. And pick what works for you and where you are now in life. Like Shannon is killing it with the sourdough making and the canning, and that takes a little bit more time. I am, chosen to do the herbs, drying and stuff where I can go and I can take 15, 20 minutes here and there to collect
Right.
and tie and stuff. So like picking what works for you right now and the time that you have.
Yes.
And again, like what you have accessible to you. It's such a seasonal thing. Like we're doing stuff
Yeah.
right now that's in season,
Right.
making it work for you. And two, reach out and let us know if you're making a crafty thing that we missed that we could add to our baskets.
I know. I
What
want
are
to know.
you doing? We want more ideas.
I
'cause
want
we
to
need
know.
more to do.
I know we do. We too. We don't have enough.
No, we don't. Definitely don't. We need more. But it's a great way to like share the love, of our
Yeah.
garden. We want to bring this joy to other people, and it's special.
It
And
is. It is really special.
yeah,
Well, it's a full circle moment. It's a sweet way to end the year.
yeah,
Kind of is a nice like little close of the chapter, and all of these skills build on one another.
Yeah.
Like you see how they all touch each other, what you grow when you understand all the things that it can do for you, and it's really beautiful. I think it's a really beautiful way to end the season.
yeah.
So
Okay.
I guess with that, we'll end this little extra long holiday in July episode. And I guess we're not going to go to get dirty, are we? Well,
No.
maybe. I think you're going to make me go harvest some things right now.
We're gonna go
Yeah.
harvest stuff because
Yeah.
we need to drive some more stuff. We need to get on it.
Okay.
Let's go. Let's spread the love.
Okay, let's go do that.
If you're up to your ears in zucchini and still pretending to like it raw, it might be time to hang out with gardeners who get it. If this episode made you smile, sparked an idea, or just made you feel a little less alone in your tomato avalanche, go ahead and leave us a 5-star review. It helps other gardeners find us and keeps this growing little podcast blooming all season long. We appreciate you more than a perfectly ripe heirloom on toast. See you next time.